Are you sick of major sports networks bashing athletes to help their bottom line? Do you want reliable information on sporting events and controversies? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to The Pound Perspective, presented by Dogg Sports, a podcast based around discussions and debates about recent football, basketball, baseball, and MMA events. Now, here's your host, Dogg.
And welcome back to The Pound Perspective, presented by Dogg Sports. It's your host today, no co-host, it's just Dogg here on episode 31 of The Pound Perspective. Unbelievable, we're here. We've taken a little bit of a break since graduation, just kind of relaxed a little bit, enjoyed my free time for a little bit, but we're back better than ever. We've been making some posts, but it's time to get back on the pod. It's time to bring y'all some more content besides what we've been doing on our social medias, and that's me talking to y'all, even if y'all care or don't care. But there's a lot that I care about that's going to be talked about in this podcast, mainly the NBA playoffs. I feel so bad for not bringing y'all NBA playoffs talk. It's been a minute since we've been here, so I'm sorry that I haven't been able to give my knowledge. Like I said, some of y'all might not care, but I like giving my opinions, especially about all this stuff that's going on around the league, the association, the NBA association. You love to see it. Some very competitive basketball. One of the best playoffs I've seen in such a long time. Fun storylines as this playoffs have gone through, some upsets, some surprises, some teams that overcame their expectations, and some teams that are still playing overplaying those expectations to possibly get a finals. And that team is the Miami Heat that I'm speaking of. So we'll talk about them in a minute. We'll talk about how them Nuggets are going to be tough to beat as a Lakers fan. I'm just proud of our season. I'm going to talk about all of that with the Lakers and what's next with that organization, as well as the Nuggets. Give them the credit, man. That team is tough. It's going to be whoever plays them in the finals, good freaking luck. But let's dive right into this, y'all. NBA playoff time. There was an amazing first round. I'm going to go over all the results. I'm not going to really talk too much about them unless there's one that really catches my eye, which this first one does. Miami in 5 over the Bucks was wild. Amazing series. Obviously, Giannis being hurt affected the outcome of that one. Still, Giannis comes back and they don't do much with him. So it was one of those things where, so much time off, it can really affect your cohesiveness as a team, even though that team's been together for years. So that was a pretty big surprise for everyone. I don't think anyone really thought the Bucks were. I think a lot of people thought the Bucks were going to make the finals, let alone losing the first round to the Miami Heat, while the Miami Heat now have a 3-1 lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. So they're kind of flipping that one on everyone's head. Hard team not to root for in those Heat. Move on to the Knicks in 5 over the Cavs. That was a big surprise for me. I really like the Cavs. I thought the Cavs were kind of a sneaky team this year. Not a championship team, but a team that could, maybe push, a Bucks in that second round to maybe a 7-game series. But I was very wrong with that. Knicks came out. Very tough matchup for the Cavs. It was really just a matchup-based thing, in my opinion. When it came to that series, Knicks looked good. Not as good. Didn't look as good in that second round, though. And we'll talk about that in a sec. But moving on to the Celtics in 6 over the Hawks. I was a little surprised we went to 6, but the Hawks fought. They put a lot of effort out there. I was impressed with their, everything that they've been through this season with coaching the past couple seasons. So, I was impressed by their effort, but the Celtics obviously were the best team. Moving to the Nuggets, they cleaned up the Wolves. Wolves are just a careless basketball team. Sorry, Red, but a lot of carelessness allowed the Nuggets to kind of easily walk through that series in 5 games. And then moving on to the Suns, 5 games with the Clips. Obviously, injuries affected the Clippers this season. I'm not going to say much about the Clippers. That's every season for the Clippers. Kawhi thinks that he could play half the season and be ready physically, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. I get not wanting to be tired of the playoffs, but also, are you going to be physically prepared for those 48-minute games in the playoffs? Is your body going to be able to hold up? And I don't know if you haven't been playing except 30 games in the past, 10 years, it feels like. That's over-exaggerating, but, the guy hasn't played a full season with the Clippers since he's been there. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, he's been injury prone too since he's been a Clipper. Those are two of my favorite players, so it's hard to say. It's hard to see that, even though they're Clippers. On the Clippers, it's hard. It's easy to hate the Clippers. It's hard to dislike some of their stars that I've always been fans of. But I'm not surprised. I didn't think that I thought the Clippers could make a run if healthy. Coming into the playoffs, Paul George was injured. I knew that he was injured, so that kind of like pushed him to the side for me. I thought if healthy, that team is one of the best teams in the league. Depth-wise, the moves that they made at the trade deadline were very good, I thought. So I was honestly a little surprised, but not because of the injuries. And the Suns were a little bit surprised at that second round. We'll talk about that in a sec. Going to the Warriors in 7 of the Kings, that was probably the best series. It was the only series that went 7 in the first round, and it was definitely the most competitive. The Kings, young, hungry, couldn't get the job done over the champs, the defending champs. Impressive effort, though, from the Kings. The Warriors they just outmatched them, man. They showed their experience against a team that has no experience in the playoffs. And then the Lakers finishing it off against the Grizzlies in 6. I was very happy about that one. I was just happy that they could shut up that Grizzlies team, a team that talks a lot for a team that hasn't done anything in this league, really, not even making it to a conference finals yet. So they talk for a team that really hasn't won anything. So I was very happy to see that, and I was happy for my Lakers to get out of that first round. I knew the Lakers get out of that first round, so I was happy that they could. Let's move on to the second round. We'll just kind of speak through this. Don't want to spend too much time on all these. Heat in 6 over the Knicks. Not too surprised by this one. I thought the Heat had a really good matchup. I also thought the Knicks were probably pretty happy playing the Heat instead of the Bucks. Just to flip that around, though, it's the Heat were probably very happy to play against this Knicks team. Matchup wise, they were just Knicks couldn't keep up. They just couldn't keep up offensively. Excuse me, with this team. So, not too surprised by that result. And then move on to the Celtics in 7 over the Sixers. That was definitely the best series in the second round. Very competitive. The superstars would come and go in this series. One game you would have James Harden masterclass, and then you would have a Jason Tatum masterclass, then a Joel Embiid masterclass. So kind of bounced around between superstars and game to game. At the end of the day, though, the best superstar on the court, well, that's a questionable debate when Joel's on the court. This version of Joel, when he was hurt, the best superstar on the court, Jason Tatum, showed up and proved that. Injured Joel, you could tell throughout the series he was just not himself fully. Don't want to take anything away from the Celtics, but Jason Tatum's masterclass in Game 7, 52, 51 points. I can't remember off the top of my head. 50 piece. I know that for sure. I was in complete awe watching that performance. And he just proved that he's the superstar he is. I need some more consistency from him. We'll talk about the Heat series and his inconsistencies so far in that series. I need more consistency from JT when it comes to him being a superstar. I think he's a superstar, but I just need that consistency just a little bit more. But his best is top 5 in this league. So very impressive. And I just want to shout out JT in that Game 7 performance. Nuggets in 6 over the Suns. Suns were a pretty big surprise for me this season. I didn't think they would. Any team with Kevin Durant has a chance. It proves that they only had Kevin Durant and Devin Booker in this series. Devin Booker had one of the best, if not the best, postseason of all the players, superstars in this postseason so far. I mean, he's been unstoppable. Maybe behind Jokic, who's been getting triple doubles every single game. It feels like. Devin Booker was on a different planet. Kevin Durant was struggling. And it's one of those things where it's like, when is Kevin Durant going to have one of those games? Is he going to have one of those just, I'm the best player on the planet games? He never did in this entire series, mainly because the Suns just did not have enough talent around them. You can say they have 2 of the best superstars, and that's not even a debate, but that team was not fully built. It was not deep enough. They got rid of all their depth for Kevin Durant, and that was shown against the Nuggets. Lakers in 6 over the Warriors. Very happy about this. Defeating the defending champs in LA. Very happy about the Lakers season. Like I said before, handling the Warriors was a big test for us. I thought, once again, we were the better team in this series going into it, and they proved it. You know, they didn't have a great games consistently. Anthony Davis comes and goes, but I knew the Lakers were the better team, and then they proved it in 6 games. Came out ready in that 6th game, and just put them away. You know, put them away like the team I thought they could be. And now moving on to the conference finals, what we've really been y'all been probably waiting for the last 10 minutes. I wanted to get through all that though, since we missed all that. At least give y'all some mini takes of what I thought about those series. Let's get to this Heat versus Celtics series, the series that's still going on. Could have ended last night, but Jason Tatum said, not on my watch. The Celtics in general said, not on my watch. And they went out there and had a heck of a performance. Superstar Jason Tatum showed up big time in that third quarter. I'm going to pull up the stats from last night. I've got the stats from the series, but I didn't have the game stats from last night, surprisingly. Pulled up here. So Jason Tatum, 33 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. He had an all-around game. I knew it was an all-around. I didn't think it was a triple-double. I knew it was an all-around. Still 5 turnovers, but you kind of live with that with Jason Tatum. He kind of comes with his ability on the basketball court. And then you got guys showing up. Everybody in the starting 5 had double figures. Grant Williams off the bench had 14. He's been pretty dang good offensively the last 2 games, and they brought him in. I think he's been a nice little change of pace. I know he poked the bear. Game 3 shouldn't have done that and caused Jimmy Butler to go crazy on him. Even though I don't like him doing that, I love the energy he is bringing to this team. He's one of those guys. There's always like a couple bench players on these championship teams and these playoff teams where they lost all their minutes. Like maybe they were a key piece to the team a few months ago, maybe last year, like Grant Williams was in the playoffs, in the finals, and then he loses all his minutes, comes in and is prepared and ready. It's like he's been playing 40 minutes every single game. He came in prepared. He came in ready. His shot was ready. He was not there was no lack of energy. His attitude wasn't bad. His body language was good. So there's always those kind of players to kind of key back to my Lakers. Lonnie Walker did that for us in the Warriors series. Was ready for his moment. Was a starter for us at the beginning of the season. Lost all of his minutes. Didn't play in the playoffs at all. Comes in that Warriors series and puts him away in one of those games. And that's what it felt like Grant Williams has kind of done in this series for the Celtics in these last 2 games, even though he poked the bear last game. He's coming out and just giving this team a little bit of a spark offensively off that bench when they needed it, especially from 3, because this team has been so good from 3 all season, and they have struggled mightily in this series specifically. Jaylen Brown specifically from 3 is 12% in this series so far, and that is absolutely unacceptable from a near superstar. He's a star. He's a near superstar. I think that's a valid thing to say about Jaylen Brown, and he has not shown up in this series. He's been probably the key thing for me in this series is Jaylen Brown's just lack ability to score the basketball, and his confidence is just low to me when I see him on the court. 16.8 points per game with only 6 rebounds and 3.5 assists on 12% shooting percent, 12% 3-point shooting percentage. Last night he only had 17 on 6 of 16, 1 of 5 from downtown. So he's still, even last night he was still struggling with five fouls. Let's see how many turnovers he had, because that's always been a problem of his too, is turnovers. He actually only had 1 last night, so you'd like to see that from him, kind of being a little bit more efficient with the basketball for assists as well. But efficiency when it comes to that shot, that's what I got to see. That's what I got to see Jaylen Brown. You can't do this in the conference finals and expect to win. You know, that's the crazy part about all this, is that, you know, Jaylen Brown is he's just not showing up, and I'm going to get to game 5 in a sec. But that has been one of the biggest things is, you know, the Heat are getting contributions from Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler. The Celtics are getting Jason Tatum's 27.8 points per game. That's almost it. Next leading scorer, 16 points per game. Next leading scorer, 11.8 per game. Yeah, and those 4 players I named for the Heat, 26.8 for Jimmy Butler, 18.5 for Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, 17.5, Bam, 16.3. And Caleb Martin and Vincent are shooting 46% from 3, 50% from 3. Both are shooting over 55% from the field. Caleb Martin's shooting 63.8% from the field. That's a shooter. That's not a guy that's going to the basket every time. That's not a center that's sitting in the paint and hook shotting it. No, that's a guy from shooting from 3. That's a guy shooting the mid-range. He's attacking the basket, but he's shooting the ball. He's a shooter. It's insane that he has that high of a shooting percentage. And that's been the story of this series so far too. You know, I could talk about JB not showing up and Stars not being there, but man, these role players for the Heat have been unstoppable nearly. I mean, they have shown up every single game, it feels like. I think yesterday was probably the only game they really didn't get much of a contribution. Vincent had a good game, and Martin, once again, those 2 guys are just staying ready every single game. 17 from Vincent, 16 from Martin. So they didn't get the other guys, besides those 2 guys, didn't really show. Bam he didn't. 10 points. That's not bad, but 0 assists, 5 rebounds. That's not much of a dominant presence. Jimmy, he had a good day, 29. Obviously, it was a little cold in the second half, so kind of allowed the Celtics to take that big lead on him late. So that's the biggest key takeaways for me in this series is, Jaylen Brown not showing up in this series at all. Terrible shooting percentage for this team. Let's actually look at it right now. I have the team stats pulled up for the series. Shooting percentage for the Boston Celtics is 32% right now, while the Heat are shooting 41%. So there's the flip right there. The Heat were shooting lower than, I think, near 30%, if not lower, in the regular season this year, while the Celtics were one of the better teams at the three, and they can't shoot anything in this series, and the Celtics, and the Heat can't miss. So it's one of those things where that kind of just paints the picture so far. The Celtics are not winning in the ways that they have to win. The Heat know how to beat this Celtics squad, and that's not letting them hit 15 threes. I think the stats are, they're undefeated when they hit 15 threes in this postseason and winless when they don't. So if they don't hit 15 from that 3-point line, it's dang near a guaranteed win for you. So I think that's what Eric Spoelstra has really told his team. I know there's been multiple timeouts where he has said, hey guys, this team can only beat us if they hit the three. They're going to hit their shots. Like last night, the post game, he said, this team just hit their shots, y'all. They were bound. They were due, This team doesn't just miss their shots 4 straight games. They have not lost 4 straight games all year. Didn't really expect them to lose last night. It was tough being on the road, but they showed effort, especially after game 3 when it looked like they quit on everybody. So you love to see that effort and that display of competitiveness in game 4 from this team, because there was a lot of talk about them quitting. Magic even came out and had something to say about it, and the only other franchise that Magic respects more than the Celtics is his Lakers. So there was no surprise there when it comes to Magic's comments and stuff. But overall in this series, it's been a heck of a series. A shock. That's probably the biggest word I would use so far. But it's not over. It's not over. First one to 4. Celtics got to get 3 more, 4 straight. It's going to be an uphill battle. I'll give you all my prediction for Game 5 soon. But I'll say this. The series is not over. The series is not over. The biggest game is the next game. I don't want to talk too much about all my points in that. But the biggest game of the series is the next game. The Celtics it's a 1-game series for them. The Heat are just playing to play. The Heat have to come out prepared because they don't want this to go back to Miami. I know they don't. I know they want to finish this thing in Boston because then that puts the pressure back on them. But like I said, I'll talk about that a little bit later in this show, in this podcast. Let's move on, though, to the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Take the L in the sweep. Very tough series for the Lakers. Very competitive, even though it was a 4-game series. Every single game was pretty much up for grabs, at least late. The first game was not competitive for 3 quarters, and then the Lakers clawed their way back into it with an opportunity late. Couldn't close it out. Game 2, Game 3, and Game 4. Once again, the Lakers were right in it, and the story of the series for me. I don't want to act like I'm taking this. Skip Bayless actually said it after, I think, Game 2. I think it was either Game 1 or Game 2, or he said the Lakers don't have a closer, and the Lakers just do not have a closer. That was the end of this. That was it with the series. The Nuggets were the better team, but the Lakers just did not have a closer. The Lakers in this series had opportunities to win when they weren't the better team, which is actually surprising to me. I came into this with a belief that the Lakers were going to win this series. I thought they could get it done in 6 or 7. I just thought the Lakers matchup with Jokic, I wasn't going to eliminate him. I thought Anthony Davis would just be a little more physical, showing a body that he hasn't had to feel this entire playoffs. And I was very wrong about that. Anthony Davis really couldn't really do too much to Jokic when he was playing a man-on-man. So that matchup was not good for us. Jokic dominated majority of these of this series. So that was a big thing, and then it came down to the Nuggets having a closer. The Nuggets had a guy that could go get you a bucket at any point in that game. At any moment, Jamal Murray could go get a bucket for that team and just kind of either stop the bleeding or take over or switch to momentum. Anything that they needed. it came from Jamal when it came to an energy standpoint. Because, I mean, Jokic, he doesn't play with that much energy. He's a little bit slower out there, but my gosh, does he make it work. Jamal goes out there and he makes shots that just literally take the life out of you, man. He makes shots that literally demoralize you. And as a team, that's got to be just tough when he's making those step back 30-footers. And to close the game, it's just like one of those things where it's just like, you got to put the hands up, man. You got to put the hands up, and it's his night. It's his night. The worst thing was it was 3 nights for Jamal Murray in this series. It felt like the Lakers didn't. The Lakers matchup with Jamal wasn't as much of a problem for me than the Jokic matchup. The problem was they were unwilling to make the adjustment on Jokic to game 4, and as a starting lineup move, I mean, like putting Rui in and putting Dennis in. I don't understand the offensive approach this series. I'm trying to outscore this team. You know, putting D'Lo in the starting lineup and taking Dennis out, and there was just some interesting moves for this lineup throughout this series that I just thought if you make one move, it could have really changed the series. Putting Rui in game 4 really helped us early. Got a 15-point lead. Rui wasn't doing much, but defensively we just looked a little bit more confident. The LeBron game 4 was absolutely unbelievable. We'll talk about him in a second too. But when it comes to this series, man, I'll give y'all some insight into everything with the Lakers and the Nuggets. Let's look at some stats here. Jamal Murray averaged in this series, where is it? 32 points per game, 6 rebounds and 5 assists, 3 steals a game as well. That's a stat that I didn't even realize that he was dominating in as well. 3 steals a game for Jamal in this series is ridiculous. Nikola Jokic, obviously, he had a crazy triple-double series, 27.8 points per game, 14.5 rebounds and 12 assists, 1 steal and 1 block a game. Just dominance at its highest level. 41% from 3, 50% from the field. Jamal was hitting 40% from the 3. Jokic doesn't take threes a lot, but man, when he makes those crazy step back over the shoulder rainbow shots, it's absolutely demoralizing as well. That too. Not even just Jamal, it's Jokic. He'll make these shots. They're just like, oh, come on, man, come on. What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do here? So those are those things. It's just like, ugh. Sometimes you just got to take it on the chest, man. This team was just a better basketball team, man. Michael Porter Jr., I had a feeling that he would be a problem for the Lakers in this series. Size and shooting ability. He's a flamethrower from downtown. Actually wasn't really good in game 4, but he had a lot of clutch threes in this series. 42% from 3. That just says enough. He was a shooter and he shot well. And then I think the key role player of this entire series for the Denver Nuggets was KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. That guy, talk about an absolute game changer. That dude is an energy player. That dude has changed his game. I've never seen him so confident in his jump shot. He can hit it from anywhere. Not afraid to attack the basket. Not afraid to play the little bit of a point guard role and pass the ball around. 3-and-D guy. He's strong on defense. And then in this series, he just worked on the offensive end, man. He just got buckets in that hoop. You know, he was just almost unguardable when it came to that. When him get to a jump shot. In some points of the series, he was 49% from the field and 44% from 3. So it's just their top 4 scorers all shot over 40% from 3. So that shows you how well this team is offensively. And as a team, they shot 40% from 3 and 49% from the field. Moving on to the Lakers, LeBron led the way for the Lakers with 27.8 points per game, 9 rebounds, 10 assists, near triple-double. Anthony Davis, 26.8 points per game, 14 assists, 3 blocks a game, and a steal and a half. LeBron would have a steal and a half, too, per game. And then Austin Reeves, he was our clutchest, definitely our clutchest player, but also the biggest, I don't want to say surprise, but just, I don't know what the word I would use, actually. I'll come back to that. I don't know what your word I would use. I would just efficient. I guess that's the word I'll use. I mean, absolutely efficient, man. That guy, he better get paid. He better get paid. We're going to talk about some offseason moves for the Lakers in a second, too, but that man better get paid. AR-15 better get paid. Austin Reeves, absolute bucket, 21 points per game in this series, 5 assists, shooting 55% from field and 56% from three. Didn't get enough looks from out there, honestly. That was on our team. And then my other favorite player, this master role player, understood his role and played it to a T. Didn't have a great game 4, but he was just ready at all times, it felt like. Rui Hachimura. I said it when we made the move. After all the moves we made this at the trade deadline, Rui Hachimura would be our most important trade piece of the entire season. And he was ready. He has an NBA body. He understands he understands how to get to his shot, how to get to his buckets, how to play defense. He's aggressive. He's strong. And he's a lottery pick. It's not like this guy was some bum, some undrafted guy that, and Austin Reeves, undrafted guy, and he's just changed his game. And then Rui Hachimura, he's a lottery guy. This guy was drafted in the top 15 for a reason. He was a really good player in college. So I truly think he could take that next step forward and maybe become that lottery player, that good player for the Lakers. And then the stats don't say enough of what this guy did. Dennis Schroeder, he was a defensive pest for this team. Really loved his effort overall. Just was everywhere on the team, or everywhere on the court during this series when it came to Jamal, defending Jamal and stuff. He was never afraid. He didn't lock him up. He got shot over a lot. He really wasn't the perfect defender against him, but at least he tried. At least he was like glue on him. And when Jamal would make a step back midi that he just barely get an inch over the hand, it's just like, all right, man, you just got to live with it. And rather than, watching D'Lo just walk around out there and let him get an open three, Sorry, I'm okay with Dennis playing hard defense and them getting a tough shot. I'd rather that. So I just wanted to at least shout out Dennis Schroeder when it came to his performance in this series. But shout out to the Nuggets. I've talked about the Lakers a lot. They're my team, but Nuggets are so tough. This team is easily the toughest team. This LeBron Lakers, since LeBron's become a Laker, this is the best team that the Lakers have ever played, I think, as a cohesive unit. The bubble Nuggets were not even close to as good as this team. They weren't even better than that Heat team that year, I think. And now this season, the Nuggets have figured it out. The thing about the Nuggets is they're going to be around. They're young. They've been building this thing for a while, and they're still hungry. They're so close to it. It's going to be hard for either one of those teams in the East to beat that Nuggets squad. Off the top of my head, I'm probably going to jump out and just say that I'm picking the Nuggets to win the finals. Depends who they play. If it's Miami, it's going to be a fun series. If it's the Celtics, it's going to be a fun series. I don't know. I'm not going to make my prediction, but at this moment, it's probably Nuggets, no matter who they play. They're just so good. They're the best team remaining, in my opinion. But it's the playoffs. It's the finals. Sometimes the best team doesn't win. Let's talk about, though, the Lakers' offseason possibilities. There's some things that they could do this offseason, and there's a lot that they have to do. Obviously, LeBron James talked about it. He highlighted it in his postgame. We'll talk about it right now. LeBron hinting at the possibility of being done with the sport of basketball. The question is, do you believe him? And this was a question that every single news network, every single person asked themselves. Do you believe him? And the real question is, if you do believe him, then it's not, do you believe that he's going to retire? It's, do you think he's going to think about it? Because that's all he said. Yeah, he assured that, I'm going to think about retirement to the reporter, Dave McMenamin, I think, or Brian Windhorst post-game. That's what I mean. But do you believe him? Do you think that he is just going to at least think about it, sit down and think about it? I believe him. He's 38 years old, 20 years in the league, leading scorer of all time, has the most minutes in the playoffs. He's going to pass Kareem for most regular season and minutes played in the entire playoffs and regular season. He's going to pass. He's going to be top 10 in almost every statistical category that matters. I mean, at the end of the day, LeBron has absolutely nothing else to give to this sport. But do I believe him? I believe that he's going to think about it, but I do not believe that he's going anywhere. For the simple fact, they were one series away from the finals, and LeBron James is still a top 5 player in this league. You can say top 10, you can say top 12. I say top 5. That 40 piece proved to me if that man was healthy, he is still a top 5 player in this league. foot, not ankle. I can't remember. I think it's his left or right foot. That's going to require surgery this offseason. So, in my opinion, when he comes out and says in the post game, I'm still 90% better than this league, I think he's 99% better than people in this league. I think he was being a little generous, Then he came out and said 95. More, I still think 99, 98, 99. There's only a couple players better than him, man. That's my truth. That's what I believe. But LeBron is 38 years old. LeBron would be going into year 21. There's a lot of things to think about here, y'all. I know his biggest thing was to play with Bronny. I know he wanted to play with Bronny. That's been his thing. He wanted to be his teammate or even compete against him. I'm not too sure if there was like a either or type of a thing, but that's been his biggest thing. Obviously his biggest thing is a championship, but his biggest thing he can do besides a championship in the NBA that remains is to play in the same time as Bronny. But also saying that's my dream. Maybe that's not his dream. That maybe that's not what I want to do. Maybe that's not what he wants to do. I mean, it's what I want to do, but it may not be what he wants to do. Bronny just signed with USC over the last week or so. So he's gonna be sticking around at home and stuff. So it raises the question, man. Do you believe LeBron? I believe him. I believe that he is gonna sit back, not think about it immediately. Relax, soak in the season, hang out with the fam, hang out with some friends. I think he's going to think about it. I do. And I think this is the first time LeBron's ever even given it a thought. And it's crazy to even think about LeBron giving retirement a thought. But we got to realize that this man's not going to be around forever. He's 38 years old. 20 years in this league. Appreciate greatness is all I got to say. Appreciate greatness while it's still here. It's funny how many people get sad and mad and thankful once a guy comes out and says, maybe it's done for me. Maybe I'm out. The haters become real fans real quick once they realize that guy's no longer going to be in the league. So just appreciate it, man. If this is it, and if next year's it, if he's done in 5 years, who knows? Whatever it is, I'm thankful that I got to watch the best version of LeBron James, this version of LeBron James. And, as a Lakers fan and as a LeBron James fan, I'm just thankful that he gave me all the memories that he has given me in this time. We'll see. I can't change his opinion, but I'm still pretty confident that LeBron knows that he has a lot left in that tank. Maybe not a lot, but I think 2 to 3 more years left in that tank if he wants it at a high level. And it's up to him if that competitive juice and those competitive juices are still flowing in him. I think they are. People say he's the most competitive person they know, so I just don't think he's going to walk away when he's still at such a high level in his playing ability. So I'd be very surprised. Quick thing, thing around these news networks is, should you take a year off? No. That's my simple answer. I'm not going to go too in depth with that. No, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. LeBron's not taking a year off of basketball at 39 years old and then coming back when he's 40. No, that makes no sense. The man is 38 years old. If he's coming back to play basketball, he's coming back to play basketball or not. He's retiring or he's not retiring. Okay, stop these narratives. Stop this crap. If he comes back a little bit later in the season next year, I won't be surprised. If he gets that surgery and says, I'm going to push off till December. Maybe I could be back by October, but let's push it off till December. Let my body adjust and everything. Let me build my body up. And I think the Lakers can survive until that point. We'll see. But that wouldn't surprise me as much as taking a year off. At 38 years old, that's crazy. That's crazy, bro. It's crazy. That's some stupid stuff, man. Don't believe it. But that will do it for my LeBron James possibly retiring talk. Once again, thank you, LeBron. Let's go into the Lakers offseason moves because this team is still a team without LeBron or not. Let's look at. I'm going to give y'all some, levels of what I think the Lakers can do in this offseason when it comes to their moves. I got 3 levels. I got keepers. I've got on the bubble guys that I wouldn't mind keeping or leaving. And see you later, guys. Out of here. If you're on this team next year, it's a problem. And then free agents, I would love to see the Lakers at least make an attempt for it. Some of these guys might be a little outlandish. Honestly, one of them might be a little outlandish. The other guys that I've got on here are kind of reasonable. I tried to be realistic. I didn't put Kyrie on here because I don't think Kyrie's coming to the Lakers. And I didn't put a trade for Trae Young because I don't want that defensive nuisance on my team. I had D'Lo. I like D'Lo. I like D'Lo more than I like Trae Young, so I don't want Trae Young. Sorry. That man's led the league in assists the past 2 years. He is not a good three-point percentage shooter. He might take a lot of threes, and there might be some cool 30-footers, but he still shoots 33% from out there. I don't want him. He's a closer, though. So, let's get into it. Keepers for the Lakers next season. Starting off with the King returns. That's what I need. I need the King to return, first of all. That's the biggest move of the offseason for the Lakers. If that happens, then we're going to start, thinking about maybe making a run at this thing. Keeper, obviously, this name's floated around. Another stupid thing that's out there. Anthony Davis will be back with the team this year. I get it. He's Mr. Mountain himself, up and down, Mr. Slopes, whatever you want to call him. That man cannot consistently play great basketball in the playoffs. I have not seen it. I did not see it this playoffs, really. But I truly think I've got a feeling that this could be the year that Anthony Davis finally officially takes that mantle from Bron. We've been waiting for it for 4 years now. Since Bron's been here since 2019? 2020 is when we got AD, so 3 years. 3 years we've been waiting for this mantle to be passed, and it's not been passed yet because Anthony Davis is just not willing to grab it. So I think this is the year, though, that Anthony Davis, if there's a year, it's got to be this year, to just say, all right, he's got to take that step forward this offseason, build his body, be prepared, got to stay healthy, be available. Availability is the most important thing in the NBA right now, especially for a team like the Lakers that is so reliant on their superstars. Another keeper for me this offseason, Austin Reeves. That man better get paid. Excuse me, y'all. Austin Reeves, $80 million man probably. That's the number I'm going to throw around. Probably about $20 million a year. I wouldn't be surprised if I could push up to 25. That man has earned every single cent of his next paycheck. Absolute star. I would be honestly shocked to the core if the Lakers somehow found a way not to bring this guy back. Restricted free agent, so he can match whatever is offered to him. I imagine he's going to get offered around $80 million. So, be prepared. Be prepared, Lakers. You have to bust up in that piggy bank for AR-15. The next guy that we have got to sign, no matter what, Rui Hachimura. That guy is an energy player. That guy is always ready for the moment. He has never shied away. Maybe he didn't play great in Game 4. Maybe the lights were a little too bright, but he was still putting effort out there, playing defense, trying offensively. It just wasn't falling for him. So I just love what Rui brings to the team. He's a big guy. He's a true power forward in this league, and it's like it maybe not even true power forward. It's more just a true forward. That guy is he just does everything at the forward position. He's not afraid to play defense, and he's not afraid to shoot or attack the basketball or take that mid range, that nice little fade away from the post. That guy's got a little bit of a bag that not a lot of players in this league have that, and he's also very underrated with that bag. So I think no matter what, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura with Anthony Davis and LeBron have to be back for next year. A couple more names in the keepers. I do want to see Schroeder back. The hard thing for me for Schroeder is how much money is that going to get? How much money is he going to get paid? Because he passed up on our deal that one time, gets the minimum, gets cut, gets brought back to the Lakers, and he was just a pest. That guy, he's earned himself some money, man. Like, it's hard to come off of a minimum deal once you're on it, especially after you've been offered big money, turned it down because you thought you should be more, and then get put back on a minimum. It's hard to bounce off that minimum. It's hard to get off of it. I think Dennis Schroeder's earned himself some money. If it's too much money, then Lakers might have to think about it going in a different direction. I don't think it's going to be too much money. Dennis, he's the guy. He's not going to be getting too much money, but he deserves more than a minimum contract is the thing I'm trying to say here. A guy that really didn't show up in the conference finals, but he had too many good moments this season. He's too good of a defender. Lakers need that. They need energy defenders, even though he has not much of an offensive presence. I think one off season at the PJ Tucker, corner specialist masterclass, that or Ray Allen or Klay Thompson, whoever the hell you want to learn from for that corner three, pick them, find them, hang out all offseason with him. I want to bring back Jerry Vanderbilt. He's a defensive guy. He might not have any offensive abilities really, but defensively he's just elite. He's not afraid to make those plays defensively and guard anybody. He is willing to guard anybody. He might not be perfect, but he is willing to guard anybody. I like players like that. So I would love to bring Vando back. If he can work on that corner three, that's all I need. Just give me one or two of those a game. One or two of those a game. Just try it. Doesn't have to go in. Just attempt it to get that defense thinking, man. If he can work on that little corner three, I think Vando is definitely a keeper for next season. And then Max Christie, only because I think he's under contract. Young guy, too. I wouldn't mind keeping a young guy like him. We drafted him. I've heard really good things about his jump shot. He's not afraid to take the three. He's been working on it. So I like Max Christie. I think he's already on contract. So the only reason I put him on keepers was because of that. And let's keep the young guys. Why not? We drafted him. I will keep him. Who wants him? He hasn't played any minutes. Keep him around. All right, let's get to the on-the-bubble players. These players, I wouldn't be sad if we lost them, but I think they would be great locker room / players on the court, with a training camp, everything that comes into an offseason so you can build the team. If they're on this team from day one, I think that they could bring a nice thing to the squad. And those players are Lonnie Walker, the fourth. We got to find a way to bring back that guy. I didn't put him on keepers because he didn't get enough big moments for this team. So it's like, if we lose him, maybe we can find a guy that can replace that role. I won't be complete butthurt, but I really would love to see Lonnie back as a Laker. At the beginning of the season, I thought he was going to be a starter all year. I mean, he played so good for us early on, got a little cold streak, and then came back in these playoffs and just stayed ready, man. Stayed ready. I think if the Lakers need to find a way to bring back a guy like that, he's a guy he is a good playoff player. Unafraid of the moment. So I would love to bring him back. I might get clowned for this one, but my man came out in that game 4 and gave some of the most energetic, hard minutes of the entire series for the Lakers, Tristan Thompson. That man better be on our roster next season. He's on the bubble for me because he didn't get any minutes all year. We didn't even pick him up to the last 2 weeks of the season. But that man, there's no reason that man should have been a free agent until the 2 weeks of the season. There's no reason that man that should be working on ESPN during the year. That guy is a legitimate basketball player still. There is too many bad players in this league for that guy to not get a roster spot somewhere. That guy came out in game 4 and gave hell. Maybe he wasn't perfect. Maybe Jokic worked him a couple times, but he came out and gave effort. He came and gave us a little bit of energy. Played defense, set picks, guarded Jokic, just tried, passed the ball, wasn't afraid to run the floor as a big man. He gave a little bit of a spark at that center position the Lakers have not had all year. AD was gassed in game 4. He was gassed. It was one of those things where it's like, what are we doing, Anthony Davis? Like, how is Tristan Thompson not working right now? So that's one of those things where it's like, you gotta bring back this guy. Even if he doesn't play any minutes, he's a locker room guy. I think he's a guy that, if he doesn't get any minutes, oh, well, he's your 15th player. That guy's never going to get minutes anyways. I'd rather him be our 15th player than someone that has absolutely no locker room presence either. So I think Tristan Thompson brings value to the team even if he's not even playing on the court. So I would like to see him come back. And then a guy, I didn't want to put him to see you later because he had too many good moments for this team. Not a lot of there were some bad moments, but the bad moments didn't kill our season, so I can't be too bad on him. Plus, he's been one of the best shooters in the league the past 2 years. He just got in a cold streak. It happens to shooters. Malik Beasley. I would like to see him back on the Lakers next year. I think him full off season with the Lakers. Find him a role on that on the seconds. I think he would be a great addition to this team, or a great, not an addition, bring back to this team, I guess you would say, for next year. Because I think it was second or third the last 2 years in threes behind Steph Curry and Buddy Hield. I think he was third behind those two guys in the last 2 years in threes. So it's like, this guy can shoot. This guy he's been given opportunities and he makes them. He's got a little bit of a cold streak, man. So I would really like to see the Lakers bring back Malik Beasley for next season. All right, let's get to these see you laters. See you laters. I'm not gonna stay too long on these. These two guys. One of the guys is absolutely for sure out of here. Don't want to see you ever again on this Lakers squad. I loved you while you're here. Your 2 stints here gave it away a little bit. But the other guy, I respect him. He played his heart out for us during the regular season. Just didn't get any minutes during these postseason. So wouldn't be surprised if he's gone, and wouldn't mind to see him gone. And get a little more of an impact player. So first things first, let's get this guy out of the way. I already know him, D'Angelo Russell. Get him out of here. I would love to have him on a minimum. I'll take him on a minimum. A minimum, kind of vet minimum. I'll take that in a heartbeat. I ain't paying that man $20 million. No. That man just lost a lot of money. D'Lo lost a lot of money. Goes crazy against the Warriors. Pretty much people are talking about, this guy's going to be the third guy for this Lakers team. This guy's going to get paid. He might be a Laker for a little bit. Lost his whole entire role. He lost his whole entire role in this team because of one series. Let's take a look at those stats for LeBron James in this. D'Angelo Russell in this series. 6 points per game, 2 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and no impact on defense. And then 13% from 3, 32% from the field, and only 75% from the free throw line. That is what you call terrible. 25 points in this entire series, y'all. 25 points in this entire series. For a guy where his role was not to play defense. Dennis Schroeder had 28. I'm okay with Dennis Schroeder's 28. There is no reason that D'Angelo Russell should be scoring less points than, personally, Rui Hachimura. You know? I love when Rui's aggressive, but D'Angelo Russell should be our third or fourth best scorer on this team. That's the only impact he has on a team when he's on a team. He's an offensive star when he's good. When he's good, when he's on, he's an offensive star in this league. He was far from that because when he's not making that shot, he has zero impact on defense. I don't understand why Darvin Ham kept him in this series. He was not feeling it, was never going to get confident in this series. When you're getting attacked every single play on defense, and they're begging you to take a shot, that confidence is going to go away. I'm not acting like I'm a basketball player. I know all this stuff, but for me, if I was getting cooked up every single play on defense, having to work super hard on defense, losing my legs on defense, and then coming back and they're giving me open shots, man, my confidence is going to be low, man. My confidence is going to be low when it comes to that, So, D'Angelo Russell, see you later. Not rooting against the guy. I love him. I've always rooted for him, but that dude has no impact for our team like the Lakers. But if he's back, he's back. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to be one of these guys that, there's no reason he should be on this team. No. He's an NBA player at the end of the day. He's not perfect, but he's an NBA player. All right. I don't know if y'all can hear it. There's a lawnmower outside. The next guy, Troy Brown Jr., he played great for us in the regular season. Lakers, he gave the Lakers a lot of good minutes during the regular season. I can't hate the impact he had on this team. He had really good games. He was an energy player in the regular season and just lost all those minutes in the postseason. And wasn't shooting much from the line. I don't even know if he got a minute. He didn't get a single minute in this entire series. No, he did. He came out. Yeah, just bad, low, garbage minutes and stuff. So it's just one of those things. He just didn't get minutes. I'd be surprised if he's back with the team next year. No, Malik didn't, but Malik kind of can still bring you a little bit. Can bring a little bit to a team offensively if he can get to a hot streak or something. But that'll do it for my see you later players. I didn't have too many of those kind of players on this team. I was genuinely happy and impressed with this squad and what they were able to pull off. I can't say much. I mean, at the end of the day, the Lakers just ran into a better team. It'd be different if the Lakers lost to a team that wasn't better than them and it was in 7 games or a game-winning shot. The Lakers lost in 4 to a team that was better than them. The Lakers had chances in every single one of those games, and the better players showed up when they needed to show up. Not even better players, just the better closers. LeBron's he's got so many great moments in this league with buzzer beaters and game winning games, but at the end of the day, he's not a closer. He's not a Kobe Bryant closer. He's not a Michael Jordan closer. He's not a Jamal Murray closer. He's not a Kyrie Irving closer. That's not what he does. That's not what Anthony Davis does. And that's what the Lakers were lacking in this series. That's why Austin Reeves was so effective in the fourth quarter, because he can go get a bucket at any moment in the game. So that was the biggest thing for this team. Is just they didn't have a closer compared to the Nuggets having a closer. They lost to the better team with the better closing unit. But that'll do with my see you later players. Sorry, going on the Lakers tangent. It's been a rough last couple of days. I had to get this all off my chest. Quickly, let's get into these free agents that I would love to see the Lakers maybe take a run at. There's a lot of big names out there. I kind of wanted to be a little realistic here. Obviously, you can throw the Kyrie name out there. I don't think the Lakers go after him unless he's signing less than $20 million. That's the only. I think the Lakers can only afford it if it's less than that, because there's no reason. There's no way the Lakers don't match Austin, and I would be surprised if they don't match Rui. I mean, at the point, if you're matching Austin, you might as well match Rui, because you're not probably going to be able to bring Kyrie anyways if you match Austin. So, in my opinion, once you match Austin, Kyrie's probably out the window. That possibility, unless he's taking less than $20 million, and I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if that happened. So the guys that I really like, and these guys might be $20 million guys, some of them. I think specifically this first guy, because how good he's been playing the last couple of seasons, how much he has improved his game. Some people might not even know this guy, and it's kind of disrespectful if you consider yourself a basketball fan and don't know this guy. And this guy is the definition of a worker, a energy player, a defender, and has absolutely improved his offensive game. Jeremy Grant, that dude, he is a worker, man. I am a fan. I have been a fan of this guy since, I think, the Thunder. Yeah, where did he... Hang on. Let's see. Where did Jeremy Grant start his career? He started with... He's on the Trailblazers. He was drafted by the 76ers. Okay. So then he got moved. Okay. Okay, he got moved to the Thunder. Okay. And he was with the Nuggets, and then he was with the Pistons, and now he's with the Blazers. Okay. I remember his days with the Thunder were pretty fun days, and with the Nuggets in that 2020 season. I remember him that year. I was like when we beat him in the Western Conference Finals. But that man has taken a massive step forward, and I think he would be an elite number 4 next to Anthony Davis if y'all want to keep Anthony Davis at that center position. Fully for it if you're going to do that. If you're saying, hey, Anthony Davis, it was your first year as center and it was pretty good job. Let's run it back, get bigger, stronger, more adjusted to that body, see if we can stay even more healthy, and let's try and run it back with this elite defender in the 4 spot, so you kind of have some help down there. I would love that move. I think that would be my favorite move if the Lakers make one this offseason when it comes to a role player. If you want to get a role player, if we're getting a star, I'd be happy if we landed on Kyrie. I would be happy. It's hard not to be at least a little happy. I'd be a little scared, a little nervous. Probably not as happy, actually, because there's a lot that comes with Kyrie Irving. Even though I'm a massive fan of the guy. But I would love if the Lakers go and get a Jeremy Grant to kind of match with Anthony Davis on the defensive end. This is kind of a flip on its head if the Lakers said, all right, the center with Anthony Davis, it worked, but we won a championship with Anthony Davis at the 4. Let's see if that works again. Let's go to that approach where we get some centers like Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee. ADC's at the 4 position. He could play that help defense, bang up Jokic. That's how they kind of beat him in that last time. So if they decide that, I would love for the Lakers to go after Brook Lopez. I think you can get him kind of on a decent deal. He's been a Laker before. He had some really good moments. If you don't forget, the years when he was a Laker was the years he kind of became that 3-point deadeye a little bit. Those years when he was with the Lakers, he kind of changed his game a little bit to that 3-point specialist when it comes to at least a center-wise, a 3-point specialist. So I would not be surprised at all by that. He's a great rebounder. I think he was runner-up Defensive Player of the Year. If not runner-up, he was in the top 3 at least. I knew he was a finalist. Excuse me. He'd be a perfect guy to sit next to Anthony Davis if you want Anthony Davis to get a little bit less of that center action. You can still play Anthony Davis at the center. When you take Brook Lopez out, put AD at the 5 then. So I would love that. Brook is getting a little older too, so it kind of works out where you can do that little mix matching and stuff. Once again, though, if you're gonna go the power forward approach, only because LeBron has a history with this guy, and he has shown that he still has some stuff in the gas tank for this Heat this year. And the Lakers could use any shooting that they can use, desperately could use shooting and rebounding. Kevin Love, I think, would be a pretty good asset for this team. You can get him probably for a veteran minimum. And LeBron, they're best friends. LeBron and Kevin Love, we know what that kind of relationship they've gotten over there with Cleveland and stuff. So I get it. Like, I would get it if we landed a Kevin Love. I would like it. Yeah, he's a little bit of a liability on defense, but the Lakers need shooters, man. And Kevin Love's a dead-eye shooter. He knows his role. He's an effort player more than anything. Like, I was watching them last night, and Miami lost, but Kevin Love's working at all times. That dude is not walking around. He's not sleeping. He's always putting in effort. Maybe he, ability-wise, can't block that shot. Maybe ability-wise, he can't make that shot. Maybe ability-wise, he may take a couple dumb shots. But at the end of the day, that dude's going to be working every single play. Defensively, he might not even be that good, but guess what he's going to try? People forget that he locked up Steph Curry in that game 7 for a game-winning tying or winning shot, whatever it was. He locked him up. He locked him up on the perimeter. Kevin Love is a decent perimeter defender. He's a worker more than anything. Like, skill-wise, he's not the greatest defender, but he works. He tries. He puts effort out there, and that's something the Lakers need, that working veteran mindset. And that can just be instilled to those young guys that we already have. Then another guy that has been a Laker before that, I think he might not mind a little bit of a reunion. I've always loved his game, and he's becoming an absolute elite sixth man in this league and a great guard in this league now. Jordan Clarkson for the Jazz right now. That dude's a bucket. He's a little bit of a streaky guy. You know, he kind of got a little bit of that Malik in him, but he's a little bit more of he's a scorer. More of a scorer than Malik. Malik is a shooter. Jordan Clarkson's a scorer. Clarkson can score from any level. He's not afraid to score. He's an energy guy as well. Defensively, there's things that he can change in his game, but then he's a guy that is not afraid to get a bucket. That's kind of similar to an Austin Reeves in a way when it comes to him getting his buckets. Like, he just knows how to get to his spot and elevate and score. So I think offensively he would be an amazing asset. And then if the Lakers wanted to get a star guard that shoots the ball well and willing to pay a little bit more money than to get a bunch of role players, like pay a little bit money for a star instead of paying a bunch of role players or paying one superstar and getting no role players, I would love to get a Fred VanVleet as a guy. He is a great guard. Defensive liability, yes. Everyone knows that. He's a small guard, so he's not going to give you much of a defensive presence. I've experienced that with D'Lo. But still, like, Fred's trying. Like D'Lo wasn't even trying on defense, y'all. Like, D'Lo wasn't even trying. I need to watch more Fred VanVleet defensive highlights, I guess, because I can't quite remember if he's even an effort defender. All I know is that dude can get scorching hot from downtown. A lot more scorching hot than D'Angelo Russell. That's the thing, is the give and take is like, maybe you might just have as bad of a defender, but Fred VanVleet is much less streaky than D'Angelo Russell. He's a better shooter, and I think he's a better scorer, too. I think he can score a little bit more of a well, maybe not. D'Lo's really good in the mid-range, so I would say D'Lo's probably a better scorer, but Fred, he's much more consistent, just so much more consistent. He's a casual 15, 20 points a game. You know, you're not going to get 3 points from Fred VanVleet, I don't think. So, consistency-wise, I think Fred VanVleet would make a lot more sense than a D'Angelo Russell, and he would cost more than he'd probably be the highest priced guy on that list of the guys. Maybe behind maybe Jeremy Grant might get more because he's been playing some good ball recently. But that's it for my Lakers talk, y'all. I talked a long time on that. I had to get it all off my chest. Go Lakers show, baby. We're gonna be back next year. Don't worry. We'll be back. But shout out to the Nuggets, man. It was hard not to root for that team, man. You know, when we had to play against them, I've always been a Jokic fan. I've always respected Jamal Murray. I've always had a feeling Jamal Murray would do something like this to my team, man. He's always been a guy that played good against the Lakers, and he had his opportunity to take us out, and he did. So shout out to those two guys. It's so hard not to root for those two guys. Michael Malone, their coach, he is an unbelievable coach. So shout out to that squad. They have not been talked about enough. I get it. The Lakers are the media day. Everyone's going to talk about the Lakers, no matter what. If they win, lose, draw, I get it. As a Lakers fan, I understand. Lakers are top media. No one, that's the media. You know, Lakers are top news. So especially with LeBron James on that squad. So I get it. I just wanted to put my respect out there to the Nuggets. Y'all deserve y'all's respect. Y'all deserve y'all's praise and talk. Job's not finished, though. Go out there, win that championship. They'll have nothing. They can't be able to not talk about y'all then. So go out there, win it, and then y'all get y'all's respect, I promise. Let's move on, though, from the Lakers. We're just quick little shout out before we get into my game prediction, game 5 prediction for the Celtics versus the Heat, and close this thing out. The Carmelo Anthony yesterday officially retired from the National Basketball Association. The 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA selection player, 9th all-time in scoring. Stats are 22.5 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 2.7 assists. Obviously, those numbers probably were affected by his later years in the NBA, but at the end of the day, no one will ever disrespect or underestimate the ability that Carmelo Anthony had on that court. a generational talent, an absolute star offensively, one of the best players of all time. And the craziness this world has is crazy. You know, the youth these days are referring Melo is now LaMelo Ball instead of Carmelo, which is absolutely disrespectful. Melo will always be Carmelo Anthony to me, because that dude, what he did in his prime, unbelievable. People truly, truly do forget. Just want to give my respects to Carmelo Anthony. Hell of a career. You deserve your praise, just like everyone else in that draft class that was in there with you. I think LeBron's the last one. Crazy. All right. Game predictions. Game 5. Celtics versus Heat. I touched on it a little bit. I don't want to get too much longer in this pod, so I'll wrap this one up. I talked about this is going to be the toughest game of the series. It's going to be the toughest game of the series to this point. Obviously, every game from this point will be tougher. I think Game 5 might actually be tougher than Game 6 for both teams. I think Game 5 and Game 7 will be the toughest games of the series if it gets to Game 7. The pressure is mounting. The pressure is still completely on the Celtics, but it's in that shifting period. You know, if the Celtics win this game in Boston, send it back to Miami, it flips. The pressure flips. It's still slightly on the Celtics, maybe going to that Game 6, but last time in Miami, you got to go back to Boston if you lose. The momentum, everything will be flipping to the Celtics. It won't be fully flipped, but it'll start flipping to the Celtics. So that's why I think this is the most important game for the Miami Heat here. Can the question I got here, the only reason I'm sitting, can the Celtics pull this off? It's tough. It's tough. Series wise, they can. But they have to be their best. Celtics have to be their best. Celtics have to be at their absolute highest level offensively and defensively, like kind of stuff that they were in Game 4. Third quarter, Jason Tatum has to play like that all game. Jaylen Brown has to be there at every moment. He cannot take off moments. He cannot miss 4 out of 5 threes. He's got to stop that. You know, this Heat team had moments last night to win, and they just couldn't put it together late. Celtics responded every single time. So, for me, Celtics have to be at their absolute best, and the Miami better not get caught slacking, is all I got to say. Because if they get caught slacking in Game 5, that momentum starts flipping, brother. That momentum is going to start flipping real quick. But like I said, I truly think the rest of the series comes down to Jaylen Brown. You know, I think Jason Tatum will show up in Game 5. I think Jason Tatum's going to show up for the rest of the series if it keeps going. I think Jason Tatum understands what this moment's like. I think Jaylen Brown has got to wake up, though. Jaylen Brown has got to understand that he is bringing this team down. That man's got to get ready, got to get prepared. I need him to stop taking threes. I don't know what else he needs to do, but at the end of the day, Jaylen Brown, figure it out, brother. And the Celtics can win Game 5 in this series. I got Boston winning Game 5, 115-108. Let's see if this series goes to a Game 6. That will be tomorrow at 7:30. But that'll do it for us on the Pound Perspective today. My camera battery is dying over here, so it is time to ease on out of here before I lose this video. So thank y'all all once again for listening to the Pound Perspective. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and Nate Dogg Productions on YouTube and Facebook to follow all of our content, all of our posts, all of our clips. So once again, we hope y'all enjoyed episode 31 of the Pound Perspective, presented by Nate Dogg Sports. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Pound Perspective. If you're interested in joining Nate Dogg for an episode or need more information on Nate Dogg and his brand, contact him at natedoggsports.com. And don't forget to share with friends and family. Thanks again for listening to the Pound Perspective, a breath of fresh sports.